I had all the tools and it still happened to me. I had all the awareness and it still happened to me. Because when it happens, it's not about me. When it happens, it's about them and their determination to take from you, regardless of how many times you communicate no. No is a complete sentence. It is never your fault when you and your trust are violated. I'm going to share my story because this story has had me shackled for way longer than I want it to. And this story, however, is not unlike many other stories. And the stigma around telling this story, my story, and about holding space for other stories of the like, well, the stigma that exists around the disclosure of our stories, well, it has no vacancy in my reference, that's for sure. So I'm going to tell my story, and I thank you for being here. He was my friend until he wasn't. About a month and a half ago, I was sexually assaulted by a friend while on a date with him. I've never seen that kind of thirst in a man's eyes before. I've never had someone pull out their dick multiple times after I said no multiple times. I've never felt afraid while being kissed. I've never felt that I had to strategize how to get out from under a man once he pinned me down. I've never been with another human and thought, I need to do something because I think he's about to rape me. He was my friend until he wasn't. We had consensual sex before. We had also had dates where nothing other than goodbye kisses happened. It was fun until it wasn't. And I had developed feelings for him. I told him that. I told him I no longer wanted a sexual relationship and I was interested in dating. Let's hang out sometime and be friends. See where it goes, I said. He never confirmed or denied his feelings for me. Red flag. He would chat with me intensely for one day, then disappear for a week. Red flag. He would never want to talk about us. Red flag. I started dating someone new. I told him to leave me alone. He didn't really. Red flag. He was my friend. It was okay until it wasn't. My relationship with the other guy ended lovingly. And it almost felt like an alert went off in his head though, because that same night he messaged me. He was my friend. It was okay until it wasn't. I told him I was happy to hear from him and that I'd like us to try dating. So he invited me on a date and said we would go out, eat, have fun. The day came and our plans got pushed and became come by for a glass of wine at 9 p.m. I guess that would be okay until it wasn't. Because he was my friend, right? I told him prior a few times, I am no longer interested in having sex with him. I wanted us to explore a relationship. He obliged and still invited me over. I didn't have wine. I had water. I sat and watched a stupid musical while he sang. Fuck Bradley Cooper. I used to love him. Now I can't. Because midnight came and no move was made. I gathered my things to leave. He walked me to the door. He kissed me. It was okay. Until it wasn't. He took my keys and wouldn't give them back. He whipped out his dick and wouldn't put it back. He pinned me against the wall, up against my back. Red flag, red flag, red flag. I was so afraid. I was so confused. I kissed him back. I liked him. I communicated my boundaries. I was clear. I said no again and again. It felt good until it didn't. I had to strategize how to be sexy, take my hidden keys, and climb out from under him. I'm good in a crisis. Breathe. I walked to the door and took a breath. I hesitated. I froze. I was so confused. I told him in a text. I used my words. I was clear. I did not want to have sex with you. He tried again. I opened the door and I left, and I never turned back. I couldn't breathe while I drove myself home. My phone lit up. It was him. He said, I should just come to your place. I thought I was safe. I thought it was over. Until it wasn't. I ignored him and I cried myself to sleep that night. The next day he told me he didn't want to be with me. I'm not his type to date, but he'd love to fuck. My heart hit the floor. He was being honest, right? Until he wasn't. Until he wasn't. Block, canceled, deleted. That would be enough for now. Until it wasn't. I withdrew. I stopped working out. I stopped cooking. I stopped masturbating. I stopped dancing. I used my other tools. I cried a lot. My anxiety hit an all-time high. I was okay, I thought, until I wasn't. It's been a day-by-day assessment. I didn't think I would carry this if I named it, but I am. But I did. There's no one way to heal from this. There is no clear path. I felt ashamed. I felt afraid. I felt confused. I felt betrayed. I felt guilty. I felt nothing. I felt nothing, and I feel everything. I was so confused. He was my friend, and then he wasn't. It's not your fault. It never was. My goddess, you are not alone. You never was. You are still a source of love. You are still a shining light. You are so worthy of love and deserve to be loved in the most beautiful and sacred ways. You are still a magnanimous, beautiful, and intelligent woman, regardless of how you heal, regardless of what they say, regardless of whatever comes. You are and will always be in this life and in all others a goddess, as you always was.